Time for French Connections, our weekly look at the intricacies of life here in France with Florence Villemino. Florence, great to see you.
Hey, Delano.
This week, we're going to take a step back from the news and focus on something a little peculiar, French inventions. We're not just talking about gadgets here. Beyond the baguette and the beret, France is behind some very impactful inventions, be it in fields as varied as medicine to fashion to transport.
Absolutely, Delano. France has a long and slightly eccentric tradition of invention. Now, we don't have time to do an inventory of French inventions, but I just wanted to give you an idea of some of the things that we owe to France. For instance, air travel. Now, humans have been dreaming about flying since the dawn of time, but it was actually made possible thanks to the invention by two brothers. This was Joseph and Étienne Montgolfier. Their invention was the Montgolfière, the hot air balloon. You can see some images there. Now, the first person to actually take flight in one of these Montgolfières was Jean-François Pilâtre de Rosier. So he was an aviation pioneer. This was in 1783, and he took flight in a Montgolfière that was made of paper. They had tested it first, though.
Les premiers passagers volants, c'était un canard, un mouton et un coq. Très très vite, il y a eu un engouement passionné à Paris. La mode passe au ballon. Les femmes commencent à porter des perruques en forme de ballon et de montgolfière.
Now, a hot air balloon might seem whimsical today, but it's important to remember that this was humanity's first step into aviation, and this opened the path to airplanes and space travel.
Now, Flo, it's easy to forget about inventions once they become part of our daily lives, and also inventors seem to fall off into oblivion.
That's right. Now, the Montgolfière brothers, they named their invention the Montgolfière, so it's easy to remember them, but that's not the case of a man named René Laennec. I'm not going to quiz you as to who he is, because even the people from his hometown, which is Quimper in Brittany, there's a statue of him, and they walk by that statue all the time, and they don't even know who he is.
Non, j'ai pas entendu parler. Non.
Attendez, je sais qu'il a fait une découverte fondamentale pour la médecine.
Stéthoscope.
The stethoscope, it's such a hard word to say. So this is an essential part of any doctor's kit, invented by this Frenchman. Now, apparently Laennec came up with the idea while he was watching children play. So he started out by rolling up a piece of paper and then carved out simple wooden tubes to essentially amplify the sounds coming out of the body. And what was revolutionary about this invention is that it allowed doctors to hear illnesses without opening up patients. So this is really a simple tool. It's an essential tool, and it's still used by doctors across the world and arguably has become the symbol of medicine.
And for doctor, yeah. Other French inventions seem to be less tangible, but they're just as universal.
As the case of pasteurization, right? We talk about it all the time. We owe this to the famous French chemist Louis Pasteur, who is famous for other groundbreaking discoveries in vaccination and microbiology. So it was in 1865 that Pasteur filed a patent for a process for the preservation of wine. So many good things come from wine. So this was essentially a process which heated liquids to kill harmful microbes, and this was expanded to other areas as well in medicine and food production. So we often think about pasteurized milk, right, with cheese, etc. But it's used for all sorts of things like canned goods, fruit juices, and even some air conditioners. Now, it really revolutionized food safety and public health because it really reduced the spread of diseases. So next time you're enjoying a beer or a glass of wine, thank Louis Pasteur.
I will be. Now, we've spoken about technology, we've spoken about medicine, but this is France, so what about fashion?
Well, Delano, next time you look at the Eiffel Tower, I want you to think about bras. Now, why is this? Well, they were both presented to the public at the 1889 Exposition Universelle. So this was the Paris World Fair. Now, the woman we owed the bra to was actually a French corset maker named Herminie Cadol. She was an early feminist, and her invention was this undergarment, which she dubbed the bien-être, which is the well-being. And it was revolutionary because you have to remember that at the time, women were wearing corsets, and this not only restricted movement and breathing, it could cause real health problems as well. And so the bra was much more than it was much more about clothing and comfort. It was actually about women's emancipation.
Quand Herminie Cadol a coupé le corset pour libérer la femme, c'était une libération du corps et c'était aussi une libération de son statut. Aujourd'hui, la femme active a une vie qui est trépidante. Elle fait de multiples activités et il faut pouvoir suivre cette femme toute la journée dans tous ces mouvements.
Now, Flo, France has always embraced invention as both serious science and playful creativity. Each year it hosts an invention competition that's open to all ages and nationalities, from hobbyists to engineers.
That's right. It's our expression du jour. It's called the Concours Lépine. So this is an annual invention competition that's been held in Paris since 1901. It was founded by Louis Lépine, who was the police prefect at the time. And this was a way to essentially help small inventors and craftsmen compete with growing industrialization. It essentially gave them a platform to showcase their ideas directly to the public. And that's still the case today. It's a part of the annual Paris Fair. Definitely worth a visit if ever you're in town, because you see these nutty inventors passionately showcasing their inventions. So it's a mix of science fair, startup pitch, and eccentric gadget expo. Over the years, you can see some images behind. There have been some wild, far-fetched entries, but also some important ones, like the iron, essentially. That was invented at the Concours Lépine, the electric iron, it must be said. So there's also the ballpoint pen, the handheld vegetable peeler, just to name a few. Now, prize winners say that the fair can really help launch their career. Maybe not for this guy, but let's listen to someone who actually won a gold prize in 2010 for a revolutionary nutcracker.
Je suis fier parce que il n'y a pas beaucoup de personnes qui peuvent vivre de leur invention. Et moi, c'est le cas. Je vis de mon invention et surtout, je fais une invention qui est entièrement fabriquée en France et ça me tient à cœur.
That nutcracker, one of many French inventions. Now, I didn't have time to mention them all. There's Braille, the metric system, cinema, and of course the Minitel, which was the precursor to internet. I'll have to do a part 2 of this French invention series.
You definitely have to. Thank you very much for that, Flo. And that's all we have time for this edition of French Connections. Be sure to check out previous episodes on our website, france24.com.